Welcome everybody to another episode of Running Through the Jungle. This is our wild card playoff special. We got your host Justin Lacey Tim Lyons from Running Through the Jungle, but we got our man down here, John Otto, drummer from Limp Bizkit. John, you just got off tour, South America tour with the band Limp Bizkit as well. How you doing, man? How did it go? And how did everything go for you? And, how was it?
What's up, Tim? What's up, Justin? Everything's great, man. Glad to be here. Thanks for asking me to come on here. The tour went great. It was tough because the first tour without my buddy who passed away from our band on bass on October 18th. So, we've been trying to heal from that, but it was great. The crowds were insane. We sold out 40,000 seaters in all the major cities in South America, and the fans brought it, and they were some epic shows. If you go on my Instagram or Limp Bizkit Instagram, you can see highlights of all of it there. And just blessed to be, still doing it and still rocking for our fans, and we're all back healthy and happy, and that's all I guess you can ask for.
Yeah, awesome. It's great to have you on the show, everybody. Just so you guys know, John Otto is a good friend of mine. We play video games together. There's a group of us that actually play games together, and John is one of them. And the biggest reason why I have John on the show is because he's a big Jacksonville Jaguars fan. We had him on week 2.
Let him know, John. Let him know, man. What's up, man? Let him know.
904. I still got a 904 area code number. Still to this day.
I love it.
Yeah, so we had him on week 2, and if I recall correctly, on Running Through the Jungle week 2, we said we'll see you guys in the playoffs, and we were hoping that our Cincinnati Bengals were going to be there with them, but unfortunately, week 2 was a bad week for us. Joe Burrow went down, but
that was a bad injury.
Trevor Lawrence.
See that,
but Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville kept going. They turned on the heat. They put the pedal to the metal. John, how are you feeling about I'm not even going to get into that game yet, but how are you feeling, bro, about your Jacksonville Jaguars?
I am, for the second time in Jaguars history, I don't feel like we're pretenders. I feel very good. I'm very happy with the team's attitude. I'm happy that they've embraced Liam Cohen and Campanelli, and I feel like the coaching and the GM, that Gladstone, I feel like they're all, with Tony Baselli at the helm as the only Hall of Famer that we have, has really set the message and the tone from the front office to this training staff. And from the top down, we have a real solid foundation of the organization now, and you can see the players have bought in, and I feel like we can beat anybody. And I feel like I feel like the systems have come together. They've really utilized the talent there, and I feel like I'm very happy with. I'm shocked. I did not think, honestly, that I was thinking at best maybe 8 wins this year would be a good starting benchmark for the regime. But to have 13 wins and a couple that we let get away from us, especially like we let Houston come back in that run, I feel like they've hit learning points though. They learned that they can't let off. They've learned how to win this.
Yeah.
Even in ugly games, there was a few of those wins that were not pretty at all, where it was just like, but they still got it done. So, I that's, without going any more long-winded, I'm very happy with it.
But you know what, John, I got to bring this up, man, because first and foremost, it's nice to meet you specifically. Now, I didn't join the episode on the week 2 when we had like the pregame talk when the Bengals and the Jags played each other. But man, I'm so impressed with everything that Jacksonville has accomplished. And if you ask me personally, I am rooting very hard for the Jacksonville Jaguars to make it to their first Super Bowl appearance in franchise history. It's long removed from the Urban Meyer days. It's long removed from the former head coach of the Eagles that ended up going into the Doug Peterson. Yes. Yes, it's long removed from it just feels a lot different. And when the Bengals and Jags play now, I know we won that game, but there was a lot of luck involved where drop passes, Trevor Lawrence throwing some ill-advised turnovers here and there. But realistically, man, the Bengals defense, they couldn't stop a nosebleed even in that game. They just got very fortunate with errant throws from Trevor Lawrence and that. But I felt like if it wasn't for that fourth down call, the Jacksonville Jaguars probably would have won that game had the coach decision. At the time, it was week 2 early in the season. You're trying to figure out if you're going to be an aggressive team or not. But the opportunity was right there to strike, and I don't blame them for going for it. But I also saw this team pull together and grow together. And for the most pundits and thought that the center focal piece was going to be around Travis Hunter. He was the two-way player. The Jags had traded up in the draft to go and grab him from 5 to 2, if I'm not mistaken, or whatever the kind of that pathway was.
It was 5 to 2,
and he was pegged to be the guy that was going to be the main centerpiece star on this Jacksonville Jaguars team. The criticism around Trevor Lawrence wasn't this crazy insane high, but I think that people had relaxed their stance on what they originally called him of a generational prospect coming out of Clemson. And now you're starting to see the Trevor Lawrence that everybody had thought that he was going to be 5 years ago when he was originally drafted. So I really am appreciative of what Jacksonville has built overall. And at the end of the day, man, coaching is what matters the most for this team. They needed a coach that knows how to connect with their young players. They didn't have that in the past. Urban Meyer was not that guy. Doug Peterson was also not that guy, even when he was trying to bring the CEO-ish kind of thing. And now look at where you are. Division winners on top of the AFC South. There was a sneaky chance that Jacksonville had to win the AFC South just because all you had to do was dethrone Houston. But then Indianapolis went on an 8-1 start. You still didn't know with what was the other team? The Tennessee Titans. You thought that Cam Ward was probably going to pop out in a little bit, but they ended up not doing anything. So nothing to worry about there. And Houston's defense is also pretty damn good. But Jacksonville's defense looked like that they have also gelled and really kind of come in his own. And Devin Lloyd, the linebacker, he's going to be a scheduled free agent. Well, I'm sure you'll have plenty of time to talk on your channel about all of that good stuff, man. But no, I really wanted to kind of discuss that rundown a little bit more with you in detail. Because nobody expected the Jacksonville Jaguars to be the 2 seed in the AFC. Not in the conference that features Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. And you're going against Josh Allen this week. And we'll get to that game here momentarily. But, man, it's impressive what this team has done, man. Tip the cap to you. I know you're on cloud now right now because a lot of Jags fans was not seeing this happening this year.
No, man. No, absolutely. You hit it right on the head there, man. That's exactly right. So I'm just ecstatic, I might even, if they make it, I might come down. I might go next week for the champ. What is it? Is it wild card? How does the playoffs exactly the format?
Take that one, Tim.
Yeah, so it goes wild card, and then it goes conference, and then division, division, and
divisional round, then the conference championship, and then
Super Bowl.
So there's 3 games, right?
Wild card,
if you make it.
And division. Yeah.
Okay.
The divisional round is the next round after Wildcare Weekend. The conference championship is the round before the Super Bowl. Yeah,
and that's the one to decide, right? So we've made it twice to that game. Mm-hmm. We did it really early in the Jags franchise under Tom Coughlin.
Mark Brunell years.
Yeah, my buddy Aaron Beasley is a good friend of mine. He's defensive back for the Jaguars for one of those teams, and he hit me up like, when are you coming home to the come represent? I'm like, man, I just was running around all of South America. I'm like, if we make it past this week, I'll go down there. And that they do, man. I'm hoping our Josh Allen can give their Josh Allen a run. Where our Josh Allen is the first time they played, got a trifecta on him. He got a sack, a fumble, and an interception on Josh Allen.
Nice.
And we ended up winning that. That was during the Jalen Ramsey days. I think 2017 maybe or 18.
Yeah, that Saxonville Jaguars team in 2017, where the major upset of that run was at Pittsburgh, because everybody thought, I saw this comment too, and I'll get that in a second. Everybody thought that the Pittsburgh Steelers was going to go off and, it was going to be Brady versus Big Ben in the conference championship. Realistically, Pittsburgh was the better team that day. They just didn't win the game. And unfortunately, they were peeking ahead, and that's what they get. But I do want to bring this comment up, because he kind of calling me out saying that I must work for EA, not mentioning Justin Herbert when I brought up the list of quarterbacks in the AFC conference there. Look, man, Herbert is talented. Yes, he is obviously in an elite conversation and whatnot. And I didn't mean to leave him out purposely. I just know that the core four of the AFC is those four supreme guys, Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, and Burrow. Those are the four guys that are mentioned in a lot of people's top four. If you want to insert Justin Herbert in top five, that's great. But at the end of the day, the consistent top four has always been those guys. And you know what? And that's going to start to shift and change a little bit. Depending on the success rate that Trevor Lawrence now takes, you're now going to have to start inserting him in those conversations, depending on the degree of adversity of which, look, they've won a number of great games this year. 4 different coordinators in 5 years, and it feels like incredible. Maybe like this one, he's got, there's no from what I understand, there's no, I guess I've heard, like for most quarterbacks, they simplify it to where, if it's too high safeties and they split the field for him, right? Where now he's actually making all the reads and changing plays at the line, getting right, setting. So like what you're really supposed to do, So you see him commanding the offense now, which is and playing a lot more free and not like. Sometimes you would see him and be like, what the hell are you doing? And you don't really see that too much. I think the system and all of it is, he's Liam Cohen's, look what he did with Baker. You know what I mean? So anyway, but yeah, hopefully he keeps it going. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think he will, man. I think he will. Well, Tim, let's not waste any more time here because we got a lot of playoff football to talk about. Yeah. So where are we going first?
All right, so what we're going to do is since we spent a lot of time talking about, John Otto and his beloved Jacksonville Jaguars, let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come right back, and then we'll get into business, okay? But I also want to tell everybody, thank you guys for watching, for listening. Make sure you like, you subscribe, and you share with your friends. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Running Through the Jungle's Wildcard Weekend NFL special. Like I said, with your host, Justin Lacey, Tim Lyons from Running Through the Jungle, and our special guest, John Otto. Now, let's get into it why we're here. I know it's a special day because we got John Otto here with us, but let's get in here what we're here for. What we normally do is if you guys have seen our other shows, this is where we do our Running Through the Jungle NFL Pick'em show. We actually ended off the season really well. Justin, what did I say? You ended up 120 and 73, and I took the top spot with 124 and 69. Thank you very much.
Yep, good congrats, man. Great regular season. I made some bad picks down the stretch. It happened.
Yeah, we both did.
But you know what? This the playoffs. Let's go ahead, man. We ready for the playoffs now. Your records are 0-0 at this point.
Yeah, we're 0-0 going into this. So let's get into it. The first game on the schedule is the LA Rams versus the Carolina Panthers. It's a 10.5-point spread, a 45.5 over under. It's our 4:30 game on Saturday. Justin, you know what? I'm going to let you go ahead and kick it off, and then we'll go over to John, and then we'll go to me. We'll kind of do a rotation. But, Justin, who are you picking, the Rams or the Panthers?
Yeah, spreads is incredibly large, but I understand why it is. And a few weeks ago, this is the team that the Rams had slipped up against on the road at Carolina. But I can say a lot of great things about Carolina Panthers, how they got to the playoffs a little bit too early at this point. But at the end of the day, man, I'm still going with the LA Rams. They're still the Super Bowl favorite. They're the team, one of the Super Bowl favorites, I would say, coming out of the NFC. I believe that they have the makings of what it is to have that championship DNA. Sean McVay is one hell of a coach. Dave Canales has been impressive to me as what he's done with this Carolina Panthers squad, kind of similar to what the Jacksonville Jaguars with Liam Cohen. But Dave Canales is not on Liam Cohen's level just this yet. I still feel like that the Bucs were more deserving to take this division spot away from the Panthers. They did win the head-to-head game, but unfortunately, the Saints did not beat the Falcons for the Bucs to be able to land in the playoffs in that spot, that little weird three-way tie. Weird things happen in the playoffs. That's why I love about the playoffs, because it's my favorite time of the year. Upsets happen, crazy amount of upsets happen. This game really has that vibes in the feel of the 2010 Seahawks at home against that 2010 Saints team where they hit that beast mode, beastquake run. If y'all remember that, the Seahawks were a 7-9 team during that time. The Saints were the overwhelming favorite during that season, and everybody and their mama thought that the Seahawks was going to lose round one, even though they were at home. But beastquake happened, and that's what put it over the top. But this gives you that early vibes of that. But I think more so that the vibes that you're going to probably get is the 2022 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady's final year, winning the division, but having to face the Cowboys at home, and the Cowboys just put the belt ass on them. I feel like that's kind of what's going to happen in this matchup. The Rams are clear-cut the better team. I understand that they lost a few weeks ago when they played last time in Carolina, but the Rams are a better team this time around, and I think that they are willing to show that. Say it again.
But plus, they got Devontae back this week, so
yeah, they should be having. Now, he did warm up too in that final week 18. He just didn't ultimately suit up, and I think that's probably just for precautionary reasons. So yeah, man, give me the Rams, bro, all day.
All right, John, are you picking the Rams too?
I am, yeah, absolutely for that game, yeah.
Okay. All right, yeah, I'm going to take the Rams also. You know, with Devontae Adams is back. You know, they got Puka Nacua. They got Blake Corum and Williams. The defense is playing pretty good damn football. Yeah. Is it Higbee?
I think so.
I think it's Higbee. Yeah, the tight end for the Rams. But I'm definitely taking the Rams. You know, Matt Stafford, he's I still think he's paving that way to the MVP possibly. But we'll see how the rest of these games come out. But I'm taking the Rams. Next one up, we are going to take the Packers versus the Bears in Chicago. It's a 1.5 point game, 44.5 over under. John, who are you taking, the Packers or the Bears?
We get Jordan Love back, right? They didn't have Jordan Love. It was Malik Willis that played the last game against them, but they led for an hour and 17 minutes. And then that's what's crazy about football, though. They got the most improbable onside kick, and then, But I will say that the Bears are a hell of a team, man. They look good, man. They look real solid. Like, that coach has got them, you can make an argument for him being coach of the year, too. I mean, Caleb looks good. Do they get Rome Odunze back? Do you know?
They are scheduled to get Rome back. That's what I am hearing. That he's off the injury report and is slotted to play in this game.
That's kind of and it's a division matchup, right? So that's you throw the records out for those, right? Because it doesn't matter. The division games for anybody, you never know.
Yeah, it could go either or.
I'm gonna have to go with the Packers, though. I'm gonna have to take the Packers in this one.
All right. Well, you know what?
Packers, just because of they seem, I know there's no Micah, but just off of how they played them last time, they dominated for most of that game. It was more of sheer luck that the Bears pulled that out. And I'm not. I mean, like, they were good. They have great playmaking ability. I just don't think that they're as seasoned as the Packers at this moment. So I'm going to go with Packers.
Yeah, I was looking at this game. So you got the Packers and you got the Bears. But the Bears overall total defenses, they're ranked 29th. They got the worst scoring defense in the playoffs, in of the playoff teams. I understand, we watch these great games with the Bears going into the 49ers. They're having a slugfest, absolutely zero defense, and I've seen the Packers, they go out there, they can dominate, or they can just lose these games just for no reason at all. And I understand that Micah, he's a big factor in of it is, but I still feel like the Packers have the better defense. They split their head-to-heads on this one. But man, part of me really wants to go with the Bears because what that team has went through this year. They've became a great offensive team, and I think I feel like the Bears have the better weapons on offensively, especially their run game. Their run game is just fabulous, and I think the Packers are just like kind of on thin ice. I know I'm using that reference because they're up in Green Bay and Lambeau, or they're not in Lambeau Field, but they're up there in Wisconsin. But I'm going to take the Bears over the Packers. I think Caleb Williams, I think he's going to go out there and just do his thing, with the offensive weapons that they have. And that defense can play fairly well too. At one time, I know they were leading the league in turnovers, on the defensive side of the ball, all these interceptions and all that stuff. I'm going to take the Bears over the Packers. Justin, who you taking?
Oh boy, I'm not going to lie to you, man. This is going to be the toughest game for me to pick all weekend. And the reason for that is because I understand where their seedings are, 2 seed versus 7 seed. But just like what John already mentioned about divisional opponents meeting up in the playoffs, I just can't trust it. I don't care what the regular season looked like. When these two teams go against each other, they know each other very well. My early vibes want to tell me that the Green Bay Packers have the formula to beat Chicago no matter where it's at, whether if it's in Lambeau or in Green or at Soldier Field. It doesn't matter. They have the formula to beat the Bears, even at their best. But I also want to caution picking the Packers because this is not the Aaron Rodgers, the I own you Bears kind of team. They're not that team. Okay. The Micah Parsons is also not this energizer bunny that can help get this rejuvenated energy. I still respect the Packers defense nonetheless, but I just feel like that there's something missing there. And that something missing is literally Micah Parsons. He's not there to kind of get this team and get the opponent's route. He may not go off and get the 2 or 3 sacks, but he's going to command attention on the D-line every single play. You got to figure out where he's going to be at every single time. And that's going to then maximize the talent, ability in the window of literally everyone else. We actually saw it firsthand when we played them earlier in the year against the in Lambeau Field. I believe it was our week 5 game. Well, week 6 game, I couldn't remember. But Micah Parsons was there, and man, the attention that he commanded was just absolutely insane. And so, for that being said, man, this is going to be tough. This line has moved back and forth quite a bit here, and it looks like it's landed as the Packers are the favorite, 1.5 point favorites, if I'm not mistaken. Here, we're looking at this betting line. I think that if I am a betting man, I am going to trust the Bears to pull off the win here. I think that's where I'm going to land. I think that if I were to flip a coin and land it doesn't surprise me that the Packers do ultimately pull off the victory. But I haven't seen enough from the Packers down the stretch to make me feel like that they can just flip the switch and turn it on. I don't think that this Packers team is seasoned enough to be able to sustain postseason success. Jordan Love only has the 1 playoff win. Okay, I understand that you're notoriously affiliated in the playoffs in the Green Bay Packers, and the Bears are a new entry to that. But I think also coaching matters this time around. This season, coaching is the main difference here. I like Matt LaFleur, but there is really something about Ben Johnson that he has his pulse throughout this Bears team. The Bears locker room, they feel it. It's palpable. They know they can do it. And if they want to start really turning the tide on this Packers and Bears rivalry, because the Packers have dominated for years on end, it starts by winning this game. Okay, not the Jay Cutler versus Aaron Rodgers 2010 NFC Championship game years back. This is the game to start to swing the pendulum in the other direction. So I think I'm going to go Bears with a quick 3-point victory, maybe less than that. I think that's where I'm going to go.
All right, next one up. So Justin and I took the Bears. John took the Packers. Now this is the one that really matters right here.
Yeah.
Got the Bills going into John
Duval.
51.5 over under. It's a 1.5 point spread. John, I already know who you're taking, but I'm going to ask you anyways. Who you taking? The Bills or the Jags?
I'm taking my Jaguars. I'm taking my Jaguars in a close game. I think that defense is, what are they, number one in pass defense? So, which I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. But I mean, you got to be good on all levels to be able to do that. But I think Liam Cohen gets it done. I think that he strategizes and gets the Jaguars in a great position with the weapons and the running game, and leans on Tootin and ETN to get it going. And I think the Jaguars, with the number one rush defense, stop James Cook as much as they can. And I think getting to Josh Allen, and if we can get to Josh Allen, it's kind of the similar thing that I talked about when we played you guys. You got to get to the quarterback, or it's going to be a long day, because you can't, he's also the only other thing that scares me, I will say, about the Bills is that he's number one when he faces zone coverages. So that's the Jaguars are going to have to switch up a little bit and go like kind of man zone on him. And he's 20th when it goes to man defense. So there's like games within games. It's like James Cook versus the Jacksonville defense. And then
Josh Allen versus Jacksonville's defense. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, but I'm going to go with the Jaguars because I think they feel it, and I think that they know who they are, and I think that they're coming to us in our hometown, and it's going to be a different situation, and we're not going to have to deal with the elements. It's going to be perfect playing how we like to play, and I think they're going to let it rip. So I got Jacksonville by 3 points.
All right, there's no bias there, guys. That was all facts that he just spit. Justin, who you taking, Bills or the Jags?
I hate to bet against Josh Allen because when it comes to the playoffs, Josh Allen does turn into superhuman a little bit there, but I'm not going to take the Bills this time. That team, Buffalo, is just not good enough this year for me to make a deep postseason run. I understand. Patrick Mahomes is out of the playoffs this year. Joe Burrow is out of the playoffs this year. Mainly Patrick Mahomes is the main team that he notoriously struggles with. He does not beat in a postseason. There's really no gauntlet here for Buffalo. But I think that the prognostication that the Bills should make it to the Super Bowl is going to be tough for them because they drew the worst matchup that they possibly could, and that's Jacksonville. That Jacksonville defense is no joke, okay? And I'm not saying that because John Otto's on the show. I'm saying that because I really like what they've built with that D-line. Their rush defense is good, that they know how to contain some of their best players, and that's James Cook. Now, they got Ray Davis and Josh Allen. You got to always be cognizant of where that he can run the ball too. But I think that their D-line is really, really formidable to the point they can neutralize their best offensive weapon in James Cook and truly make Josh Allen one-dimensional by being the superhuman person that he is. Josh is going to make sure that the Buffalo Bills get on the board. When it comes to scoring, the Bills they just rile up points like a stampede on offense. I don't know how they do it. They also get very fortunate with lucky turnovers and breaks on defense as well, too. But I'm not really sold on the Bills' defense neither. I don't trust their corners outside of Christian Benford so much. I do like their D-line a little bit, but not enough to where I feel like that they can slow down Tootin and Travis Etienne. Oh, and you still got the receiving core and the tight end threats as well, too, that Jacksonville puts out there. And we're underrating the fact that Trevor Lawrence is mobile. He can get out of the pocket and escape and run too. So with that being said, man, I don't like this matchup for Buffalo, really. I truly don't. Even though the elements in the weather is not going to be that's something they got to worry about, I just feel like that they drew the short straw here when it comes to the AFC opponents that you did not want to see. They were probably hoping that Houston was going to lose to the Indianapolis Colts less on week 18, so that way they draw whoever was the winner of the AFC North, because that's a better matchup for them. This one right here, I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills win this game, but I am going to go ahead and take the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that they're ready to make a run. Liam Cohen, he should be one of the favorites to get Coach of the Honors, but you can put that on a long list of coaches that deserve that award this year. But yeah, give me the Jags.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys both said. But I remember I had a text message that went out to John Otto back in November. It was like right before Thanksgiving. And I said, John, how can I bet on the Jacksonville Jaguars? I pick them to win, they lose. I pick on them to lose, they win. And you know what?
I remember that.
I picked them to win, and they've been winning. They've been winning. Jacksonville has had their foot down, the pedal to the floor, and have been playing great freaking football these last 6, 7, 8 weeks. They've been playing great football. I'm not a big Sunshine fan. That would be Trevor Lawrence for some of you young ones that don't know who Sunshine is. But I've never been a fan of Sunshine, but he is showing some promise. He's taking care of the football. He's making smart passes. He's actually, not focusing on his main hot route. He's not focusing on just this hot route. He's focusing. He's looking down the field. He's making smart passes. This is probably the best Trevor Lawrence that I've seen since he's been in the NFL. I said that since he's been in the NFL. This is the best Trevor Lawrence we've seen. John has mentioned that he's went through 4 or 5 different offensive coordinators, and Liam Coleman, they actually got this right now. But now let's look at the other team, the Buffalo Bills. My concern is are we going to get Clark Kent, Josh Allen, or are we going to get Superman, Josh Allen? Can Cook hold on to the football? Can he hold on and secure the football? Because he's known to fumble the football as well. And against that defense with the Jacksonville Jaguars,
31 takeaways.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the Bills have what it takes to beat Jacksonville. So that being said, we're all picking them. Jacksonville Jaguars over the Bills all day, every day. Now, next up, we're going to go with the Eagles and the 49ers. That would be a 44.5 over under a 6-point spread. That might be the biggest spread. Yeah, that's the biggest spread of the playoff. Oh, nope. I'm sorry. The Rams were 10.5. My bad. Erase that. But anyways, Eagles versus the 49ers versus the Eagles. Justin, who you taking?
Man, I don't want to pick the Eagles here, but I feel like I'm going to pick the Eagles here, and they're going to do it to me again. They're going to burn me again. Oh, man. Okay. The Eagles have been, let's just call it what it is. They have not been great down the stretch. They've been very average at best, and they haven't really put their best showing on tape. The 49ers, on the other hand, has been rock solid all year long. Kyle Shanahan, another Coach of the Year candidate nominee, in my opinion, has done one hell of a job coaching up this team with the absences and the injuries that they had. We've already known about no Fred Warner, no Nick Bosa, but there's been a litany of guys that they lost due to injury. And then also dealing with the contract talk and the debacle of the Brandon Ayuk deal. Robert Saleh has done a phenomenal job coordinating that defense to get it to bring productivity off of that side of the ball. But they're still susceptible to big plays. And that's what I worry. You're now in this spot. You're in the Eagles territory now. You're in the nest. And in the nest, in Lincoln Financial Field, they know how to turn up when playoff time comes. And this is one of those things where it's like you got to take patterns and you got to take the consistency. And I think what's going to happen is that the 49ers are going to travel out east, put up a good fight in the first half, but there's going to be that one critical turning point that's going to turn it over to the Eagles, and they're just going to run away with it, literally, and Saquon Barkley is going to close it out in the end. And I like it that we get to get Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley, the last two Offensive Player of the Year award winners, facing off in this matchup. It's going to be one heck of a game. It should be. But that's what the vibes tell me early on with this game. So I think that the Eagles win, but the 49ers cover that 6 spread.
All right, John, excuse me. Who are you taking? 49ers or the Eagles?
I'm going to have to go with, like my man Justin said. Listen, I think that Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh have done an excellent job, but you have no Fred Warner, right? Or is he's not coming back for this, right? No. There was like, so I mean, and that was that,
No Bosa,
and I do think that the 49ers are always formidable, though. I mean, they are sneaky good, like, and they have weapons. But the Eagles are the Super Bowl champs, and at home, I'm gonna have to pick the Eagles as well, man. I feel like they put the drama aside and they show up. So
all right, yeah, I can see that. I've had a hard time picking the Eagles all this year. All this year has been a struggle. Like it's hard for me to even pick the Eagles for this game.
I feel
but they're matching up against the 49ers. The thing is if the 49ers do not get off firing on all cylinders on offense, there's nothing else to look forward to. We saw what happened against the 49ers and the Seahawks. That Seahawks defense shut that offense down, and they had nothing going for them. And that's what I'm afraid is going to happen in Philadelphia this Sunday. I have a feeling that that's going to happen. Philadelphia's defense is going to step up. They're going to shut the 49ers offense down. And, it might be maybe a 16-7 game. That's what I'm predicting it's going to be. Because I really still don't have any faith in the Eagles offense. I really don't. But do I have faith in their defense to be that top tier defense they should be? Or are they going to piss away a 28-point lead and get beat like they did against the Cowboys? But this is playoff football. Jalen Hurts has been to the playoffs. He's been to the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl. And on that fact, just because also Fred Warner's out, Nick Bosa's out, I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles as well. And let's give a shout out to some of our people in the chat. Look at there. Thiago, John Otto is a legend.
Thank you.
And then we got Austin Art in the chat. I don't see it happening. The 49ers are up and down because of how they play. You don't know you don't know what to expect out of them. You're right. You don't know what to expect out of them. But let's get on to the next game. Next game, the Chargers versus the Patriots in New England. 45-point over under 30, or excuse me, a 3.5-point spread. John, I'm gonna let you pick this one first. Who are you picking? Chargers or the Patriots?
I mean, I will say that the Chargers are a great team. That quarterback Justin Herbert is great. He is, but the defense can't stop anybody. So I think the Patriots are just too high powered right now, and I feel like as a complete team, and I mean Vrabel should be in the conversation for Coach of the Year as well, in my opinion. I mean he's not a new coach, but we used to have to deal with him with Tennessee back in the days. So he's just solid all the way around, and he has that defense, fired up. So I think going to Gillette is, although I do think the Chargers have some good pieces, I don't see them. I don't see them taking it. I'm going Patriots by at least a touchdown or more.
Nice. You know what? Let me give a quick shout out. My boy Mike Miller's in the chat. His brother Nathan Miller's in the chat as well. Guys, they came just to see you, John. They didn't come to see my ugly face.
Nate,
mine either.
But all right, Justin, who you taking, the Chargers or the Patriots?
I mean, I'm laughing because your boy here in the chat, man, you can tell he's such a Herbert homer and a Chargers homer, bro. Like,
he is. He's a big time. Donald is a big time Chargers fan. Die hard.
You're gonna hate me, bro, because I ain't picking your Chargers to win this game. It's not a question. Don't even try to pull up that. Oh, they won 40-7 last time these two teams played each other. Come on, that was last year's Patriots team with the terrible coach in Gerard Mayo, and they only had like 3 wins on the year. One of them was against the Bengals, so I'm not going to even try to quote that. And then no, but this Patriots team is absolutely a machine this year. And the Chargers, they got to still show that they can sustain health, in which their offensive line has been bad this year due to injury more so than anything. They had to deal with a lot of backups in place. Bobby Hart is still in the league, for crying out. I didn't even know. Justin Herbert, he's been bruised and battered and beat up quite a bit because the offensive line injuries has sustained itself. But at the end of the day, man, I don't know if they have enough firepower, although this is one of the games that tells me that I just think that you got two grizzly, like certain style head coaches, Mike Vrabel, Jim Harbaugh. Again, coaching matters. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to sneakily have this Chargers team prepared to be able to hit the road and face a tough environment. And I think that the onus is going to be on Mike Vrabel to see that if he can win the coaches battle here with these two teams. But in terms of clear talent deficiency, man, I think there's not that much difference when it comes to talent. I actually do like the Chargers defense. They've played well down the stretch, but they can be susceptible to big plays here and there. And, against the Patriots team where Drake May, I think that he should be another co-favorite MVP with Matt Stafford. I think he's going to ultimately be Matt Stafford. But you can tell that Drake May deserves that recognition of getting the award too this year. I do think the Patriots win this game. I like the 3.5 points. I do like for them to cover. I'll keep it simple. I think Patriots move on to the next round.
All right. Yeah. I know the Chargers defense has been playing good football. Herbert's been out there balling out with just one hand. He's been dealing with that left hand surgery that he had. When the Chargers run game gets going, they have Hampton, and then they have who's that other dude? Neil, or what the hell's that kid's name? I don't know. He's a beast. He's like a bowling ball out there. But anyways, when they get going, but they still have, they have Keenan Allen. They got Luke McConkey out there. Quentin Johnson. Lab McConkey. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lab McConkey out there. Their offense is decent. It is. It's good as long as Justin Herbert can hold on to the football. But it always seems to be that other defense has a hard time keeping Herbert in the pocket, because Herbert will take off running for 10, 15 yards down the field, and you're like, oh shit, here comes, it's first down. What the hell? Herbert's just a slippery dude. But the Patriots, let's look at the Patriots. Patriots, they've been playing good football. I still don't believe that their schedule was, it's their strength of schedule wasn't that hard. Besides they had to play the Bills twice. I like what Drake May's doing. I like what Trevion Henderson's doing. Stefan Diggs, is he going to play football? I don't know if he's, going to play or not. I don't know, because he has that whole legal issue going on, but I'm assuming he's playing. So, man, part of me wants to take the Patriots and part of me wants to take the Chargers. So, oh man, this is a hard one for me. This really is a hard one, because if the Chargers come into town and they get their ass whooped, man, I'm going to laugh my ass off. But then if the Patriots prove to be one and done in the playoffs, because they're a young team, coached by Mike Vrabel, and Vrabel's doing a great job, don't get me wrong. But I don't think I'm a fool, though. So I'm taking the Patriots as well over the Chargers. Sorry, Donalo, but I just don't think that the Chargers – it seems like whenever the Chargers go to the playoffs, that's all they do is go to the playoffs.
And that's another thing. Thank you for bringing that up, Tim. That's another thing, too. Herbert needs to prove it in the playoffs, too. His last two playoff appearances that he blew a 21-7 lead to the very same Jacksonville Jaguars that my man John Otto was here champion for. And then last year he threw 4 interceptions in the wildcard round when they were favored to beat Houston on the road at that, and you dropped the ball there. So, yeah, y'all still got to prove it in the playoffs, too. Now, this is New England's first appearance in the playoffs since Tom Brady's – well, I'm technically not Tom Brady. What's the backup? Belichick's final year, basically 2021 year, where the Mac Jones, that season where they built to ass beat by the Bills that season. They still got to prove it in the playoffs too. This is their first appearance since then. So really, there's some newness here. I do like both coaches though. Mike Vrabel's have playoff experiences with his days with the Titans. He was the one that kind of pushed the envelope and won the playoff game on the road in Baltimore during that tenure where he upset at the 14-2 Lamar Jackson MVP or whatever. So with that being said, man, I think that this should be a fun game. But yeah, both teams got a lot to prove, but the Chargers got to prove it a lot more to me than the Patriots. At least the Patriots have shown it before in the past, where I haven't seen the Chargers show up in the playoffs since Phillip Rivers was there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, let's get to the last game. The Houston Tex or yeah, is it the Houston? Are the Houstons? Yeah, Houston Texans.
Houston Texans. Yes, Houston
Sorry.
Texans, bro.
Man,
this is not
I
Houston Oilers.
about said Oilers, didn't I?
Tim
Houston
about to
Texans.
call them.
I'm about to go back in time. So I'm gonna let you guys know a little secret. So my buddy Mike Miller in here, him and I have an NFL franchise going in Madden, and he took a team back to Houston as the Houston Oilers. So that's why I was getting Oilers on the brain. But I'm sorry. But the Houston Texans versus the freaking Pittsburgh Steelers, 38.5 over under. It's a 3-point spread. You know, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm not wasting a lot of time on this. You know, I understand that the Steelers are 23 consecutive wins in Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh. That's great. But Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game since, what was it, 2017, 2018, whatever the hell it was? 2016. So my question is you know, is that 23-game win streak in Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh going to come to an end? Or is that losing streak for Tomlin going to come to an end? You know, they're playing against the Texans. The Texans' defense is ungodly. You know, the Texans' defense is just playing insane.
Yeah.
So, and then you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. The offense is just trash. You have Aaron Rodgers, and I'm calling your offense trash. Aaron Rodgers and your offense is trash. I don't know what's going on over there. They have the highest paid defense in the NFL, and you barely won the AFC North. But that being said, not only because I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm picking the Houston Texans over the Steelers, and let's see the drama happen after this loss. John, who you taking, buddy?
The Texans are in my division, and they are on a longer win streak than we are. We're on an 8-game win streak. They're on a 9-game win streak after starting the year 3-5.
Yep.
That defense might be one of the best defense the NFL has ever seen. I know that's a bold statement, but that's how good they're playing. They shut people down. You're lucky if you get past 14 points on this defense. Plus Stroud looks like he's alive coming back. You know, it looks better. Like last year, past couple of years, he's been on fire coming into it. But then I guess long story short, the Steelers, I want to pick the Steelers because my boys are Steelers fans, and I don't know, man. The Steelers defense, though, they got with TJ. I mean,
even these Steelers fans aren't even sure about their own team against the Texans.
I know. You get DK back. You do get DK back. I think this is going to be a good game. Actually, this is the thing. This is going to be one of those defensive slugfests where you might not even get past 10 points on this game. I don't.
Could be.
Plus, and then this is a weather game, right? This is Texans going up north, right? This is
going to Pittsburgh. Could be.
I picked the Texans to win by a point.
By a point. All right.
That's where I'm going to sit at it.
Justin, what are you taking? Texans or the Steelers?
I feel like that the media has a fix-in for this game. There's no reason why this game needs to be the Monday night slate.
Amen.
Throughout the Super Wildcard round. Honestly, I would have put the 49ers and the Eagles in this spot here. And then the Texans and Steelers should be in their spot. They switch the spaces between those two. Because I don't want this to be the standalone game. I think that the reason why they want to put this, because I feel like there's this weird mystique and energy that they kind of want the Steelers to win this game because of the Monday night streak. And they want to exercise the haven't won a playoff game in nearly a decade for Mike Tomlin to still keep his job kind of thing. It's weird how my mind works when it comes to stuff like this. I understand everything as far as what everybody's saying about the Houston Texans defense, but I also saw that same Texans defense get had too and get got a little bit too in the last few weeks. And again, maybe because that they're just trying to not employ a different kind of strategy, so that way they can prepare for the playoffs easier. But they got the best spot here going against the winner of the AFC North. And Pittsburgh is the one team that I feel like that you can really get up and just really just dominate because they're not really talented on offense. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is starting to kind of show up a little bit. Like you're starting to see a little bit of vintage A-Rod there. But this is not prime Aaron Rodgers like we've all known and saw and loved back in his early Green Bay days during his prime years. And the Steelers offense, I don't care if they got DK Metcalf back or not, bro. They're just not good. All right. The Ravens are one of those teams when they play Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, the Ravens just don't play well for whatever reason. Pittsburgh in general is a city where people just don't play well. And I know this by being an AFC North watcher for basically my entire life. It's just something about Heinz Field / Acrisure Stadium. It's just something about that stadium to when the swirling winds and that cold weather, kicking elements become weird. Weird stuff happen. So the Texans really need to watch out on offense about the weird stuff bouncing in Pittsburgh's direction and bouncing their way. But I also think that the Texans are just talented enough on defense where that defense alone can carry them for real. So, yeah, I am going to go with the Texans to win this game. It won't surprise me that the Steelers pull this one off just because this is probably Aaron Rodgers' final ride. And I don't think he wants to go out one and done. He's never made it back to the Super Bowl since originally winning in 2010. You got in close with a couple of NFC Championship game appearances. His second time being in the AFC. Well, first time being in the AFC playoff side. The wide open gauntlet is there for you. If you pull out this win, the rest of the schedule probably doesn't look that bad, depending on who upsets who or who beats who. But I think that Houston is the team that nobody wants to see. They are rock solid. Like they are rock solid, just defecated on defense. And honestly, I think Pittsburgh is going to have it in for like they're going to have their hands full big time with this one. So Houston in a close one. I think they pull off the win, even though it's on the road. And then the rest of the AFC North, they're back at home, bro. Just sitting there, just like, what the hell happened to our division?
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. But anyways, guys, that is our picks for this wild card weekend. John, thank you so much again for coming.
Thanks for having me, fellas. Appreciate it.
It's a cool thing that, I have a friend like John Otto. John is a great dude. He'll do anything for you. He's a great dude. And it's great to have you on this show. Maybe he'll be back next week. I don't know. Well, I'll have to con him into coming in. Or if he can't, it might be because he's in Jacksonville at the next playoff game. So we'll see. Yeah, maybe. Oh, there we go. Maybe he'll be live in Jacksonville next week.
Yeah.
I don't know. But John, thank you again. Do you have anything that you want to say to your fans and say to our audience before we wrap this show up?
Thank you for supporting your local biscuit, and thanks for having me on the show, fellas. I appreciate y'all, and I love talking football, so anytime is great. And
don't go anywhere. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. Okay. Justin, you got any final thoughts for us?
Yeah, man. You know what? Shout out to the guys in the chat, man. All of you guys and gals, whatever. And shout out to all of you in the chat, man. Cooking up in the comments, man. We've been sharing all of your comments. We should have brought all of the chats to the stage so that way people can see how actively involved. And John, that's probably a tribute to you, man, for joining our show, because we've had the most amount of people that kind of engaged in the chat here for the first time in a long time. And I really appreciate you for joining in this episode too. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of tip my cap to you all in the chat and the live viewers that's listening on us, yapping, talking ball. Man, I enjoyed every single minute of it. It just made my heart smile a little bit more. Me and Tim, we enjoy talking football. We enjoy talking these games. And man, we're in for a fun playoff. Although as a Cincinnati Bengals fan, it is depressing. We got more different pressing things that we need to discuss at a later point in time, because I don't give a damn about the Bengals right now as far as the offseason go. They got some work to do, and this focus is not on them this time. Right now, this is about NFL playoffs. It's the favorite time of the year for me personally, because this is where the greatest effort of football happens for me. So we're in for a treat. So, man, I appreciate you guys all in the chat cooking up. John, I really appreciate you. Tim, I always appreciate you and I getting together and doing this show on the regular basis, on the weekly basis. So, yeah, man, that's basically what I got.
All right. Hey, everybody, thank you again for watching, for liking. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. Share with your friends. You know, I don't care if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan or not, but come join Justin and I on Fridays. And, you know, we talk about the whole NFL, the actual whole NFL, not just Cincinnati Bengals. We don't even talk about the Cincinnati Bengals unless there's a Cincinnati Bengals game on our Friday schedule for these games. But right now, they're in Cancun with the Ravens. So, you know, we ain't talking. It just make sure you like, you subscribe, you share with your friends, hit that bell when we come on. Other than that, everybody else have a great weekend. Thank you again for watching, and you guys take care.